Hey YouTube, Technical Timmy here. I wanted to talk about education and how we educate ourselves before we make our investments. Now, when it comes to education, I think that a lot of us, we are here on YouTube and we're watching YouTube videos, and that was certainly a formative thing for me when I was getting educated about investments. Because, hey, that is where you can find a lot of information about investments. I personally, when I started off, I found some of Chris Dwayne's information through the Silver Bullet and Silver Shield. At the time, he had like a separate website where he had posted like 40 plus hours about American history and history of fiat currency, and that was a fantastic resource, and I learned a ton going through. I remember at one point it's going through like 10-hour lessons and a very in-depth thing, and you can still find that out on YouTube, different places, getting into the nitty-gritty details and learning about different things about investment. Now, YouTube, it's about as good as what you put into it, because if you're looking for silly, ridiculous things, you're going to get silly, ridiculous things out of it. But if you're looking for educational things, you're going to get educational things out of it. So I think it's important to be more intentional about your time on YouTube, because we can certainly waste our time, and we all have heard the phrase that time is money. And every minute that we spend watching silly YouTube videos that aren't encouraging us to do good things with our time is money wasted, or time being wasted. So I encourage you to be really intentional with your YouTube usage. Now, obviously, this is where we find ourselves, and maybe that means that the video or audio platform is how we learn best. Now, everyone is going to learn a little bit differently. I know that I really do enjoy the YouTube platform and having video to watch. That's not the only game in town when it comes to this, though. I think that podcasts are another fantastic way to learn. There are some great podcasts out there that can encourage you to be investing in good things and having strong investment ideas behind it. I know that there's lots of podcasts when it comes to personal finance that I have gained a ton of information from. I can speak directly to like the Mad Fientist podcast and some of the FIRE movement or early retirement movement, because that they have done a great job of encouraging and giving different ideas of how to save more money. Now, the FIRE movement is also on YouTube, and you can find different things there. It's not just the silver community or the gold community that is going to be on YouTube. They don't have a stranglehold on the investment market. In fact, you'll probably see more of that other investment advice on there and on podcasts, and it can be difficult to find those niche topics and niche podcasts, and that's part of what this channel is all about, is actually expanding that and trying to give you different ideas for how you can educate yourself. Now, you've been looking at this book in front of you this whole time, and this actually is a foreboding and forewarning story about how just because you purchase a book doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get education from it, because this is only a 75-page book that I was recommended from a YouTuber a long time ago, and unfortunately I have still never read it. It's only 75 pages, and yeah, I could probably sit down one afternoon and just knock it out really quickly, but guess what? I haven't done it. And have I gained any education from it? No. And I probably spent, I don't know, $10+ on this several years ago. So I probably would have been better off at the time, purchasing a little silver or something like that to have sitting on shelf, or even purchasing stocks and having that accrue interest over time. But guess what? I didn't. I purchased this book, and it is sat on the shelf, and I haven't read it. So that is going to be a challenge for myself, is to come back and give you guys a book review of this, because it's been sitting on the shelf for far too long, and I still haven't given it a good book review or even a good cursory reading of it. So I'm going to come back and report back on y'all and see what I actually learn from this book. But I want to encourage you guys, not maybe to read this book necessarily, but I want to encourage you to actually read books. And if you really do hate sitting down and reading, maybe I encourage you to go out and get audiobooks. You don't necessarily have to spend money on audiobooks. You can go to your public library, and almost all the public libraries that I know of, and I've talked to lots of people in different localities that have different public libraries, almost all of them use some kind of online audiobook app that will let you borrow those audiobooks for free. That's right, you heard it, for free. You don't have to spend any of your hard-earned money, so you can keep that money going to your investments, but you get those books for free, rented, and you get to enjoy them and learn things from them, and then you can return them free of charge. So I want to super encourage you guys to get out there and try out your public library, whether it's through the audiobook platform or whether it's physical books like you see in front of you, and maybe to actually track and set those goals, because reading is something that is really important. And one of the best ways that I've found to track goals is actually through the Goodreads app, and that's a app on the App Store that you can find where you can actually not only place the things, and it tries to place different books on your list or want to read list, and as you read them you can give it reviews, and it will try and recommend future books for you. But I think the best thing that I have found on the Goodreads app is actually to set your yearly reading goal. So this year I'm currently trying to read 25 plus books, and maybe we'll actually expand that, because I am going to be ahead of schedule on reading my 25 books, but it will actually track how many books you read. So every time I start a new book, I put it in the Goodreads app, and then once I finish the book, I will actually write just a quick little review and give it a star rating. So, and that will actually add it to my read category and go towards finishing my yearly reading goal. I think that being able to track it is probably the most important thing, because what gets tracked is what gets changed, and without actually tracking things, it's hard to see that you're actually getting changes and changes are being done. So I would super encourage you to set that reading goal, both audiobooks and physical books, because I'm guilty of that as well. I'll get into the audiobook habit. It's so easy when you're driving to work, just be jamming out, listening to your audiobook, and forget that, hey, there's really value in taking a physical book, opening it up, relaxing on the couch with a nice beverage, and actually reading. So there's value in both the audio and the physical books for your education, especially when it comes to gold and silver investing. So those are my challenges for each one of you. I'm gonna see if I can follow through, or I should say I'm going to follow through with actually reading this book and coming back and giving you guys a nice book review, so that you can know if this is maybe something that is worth your time and your dollars. So if you gain something from this video, I hope that you take the time to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Take care.